What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel, kicking it back to some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel content. As promised, like I said on Friday, we're back with the usual energy and kicking it back with another deck list video. And as you can see, my favorite deck of all time finally comes to fruition. It's not just the elementals, it's not just the destiny, it's not just the vision, evil heroes, or even extra heroes. Today, I bring you guys my hero deck list featuring around Dark Law and Malicious Bane. I will say outright, this is a platinum worthy deck. 1,000,000% this is a platinum worthy deck. This is probably the best deck that I own currently right now, and it's very strong. Probably around top 10, maybe in top 10 in the meta, in my own personal opinion. So this is a pretty strong deck. This is something, you know, very good that you guys can actively build and rely on and use for your rank grinds. I will admit, as you can see up at the top of the screen, I had 0 SR and UR material. So there are a few cards that I wish I could be playing like an extra of, or other cards that I wish I could have in the deck entirety. But this is what I was able to come up with. This is what I was able to make. And honestly, it's been kicking a lot of ass for me regardless. So without further ado, you know how we do it. Top left, bottom right, let's get into it. And if you enjoy the Master Duel content, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. Now let's get into it. Starting at the top left, we got Max C, 3 of them. Don't need to explain it, just for extra draw power. First up is Vision Hero Increase. If you take battle or effect damage while this card is in the graveyard, you can place this card from your graveyard in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous trap. During the main phase, if this card is treated as a continuous trap, you contribute 1 hero monster, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the spell or trap zone, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Vision Hero monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Vision Hero Increase once per turn. He is here for the Ferris plays, because Ferris, we'll get to Ferris, and then he brings out Vion. So he sets up a lot of plays, but since we have confident ways of searching for him, we really only need 1. So we play him at a 1. Next up, Ash Blossom, just for some negation. One of the cards that I really wish I could be playing in this deck is Impermanence, and I just don't have the materials to craft that. That was one of the cards that I completely forgot to craft amongst the staples. So I need some negates. I need something to help pop fields without just my monsters themselves. Ash Blossom, she does the job. Next up, 2 Elemental Hero Stratos. A simple enough card. Everyone knows Stratos by now. When this card is normal or special summon, you can choose one of the effects. You can destroy spells and traps up to the face-up number of hero monsters that your opponent that you control, except this card, or add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand. Great for popping off pesky back rows. If he's one of the last things that you summon in your turn, you have a full field. You can get rid of basically their entire spell and trap board, or he's our search engine. Strong card. You need to be playing Elemental Hero Stratos. A lot of people can play him at 1, but I like playing him at a 2. I like confidently having 2 in my deck. Next up is Vision Hero Vion. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 hero monster from your deck to your graveyard. This helps set up plays. You can only use this effect of Vision Hero once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish 1 hero monster from your graveyard to add 1 polymerization from your deck. It's another way of fishing out cards. Great, good cards that we need. So this one, I definitely think this is definitely a play of 3. He's one of our best search engines and one of our best play setups in the whole deck. So definitely play him at 3. Next up, we have Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. Amazing card. If this card is sent from to the graveyard, this could be from your hand, the field, the deck, whichever. You can add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand, except for Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Here's the catch. You can only use 1 effect per turn, and once only that turn. So if you use his top effect, if you special summon him and get the change quick play, you cannot use the second part. So make sure you keep that in mind while you're doing your Shadow Mist plays. You can only use one or the other once per turn, so keep that in mind. Next up, we play 1 Destiny Hero Celestial. When this card declares an attack, you can target 1 face-up spell your opponent controls, destroy it, and inflict 500 damage. Nice ability, popping stuff, dealing 500 burn damage. While you have no cards in your hand except this, the card this turn was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and 1 Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard, draw 2 cards. A draw engine and a spell popper if we need them. I will be honest, I've never had Celestial on the field to use that effect, but it's nice to have if you need it. you know, and he's a draw engine. If you're out of cards and you need cards, you set everything from your hand. If you have all spells, you can use him to draw 2 more cards and get your stuff going and flowing. Next up, we play 1 Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by spell effect, you can target 1 hero monster in your graveyard, except for Elemental Hero Solid Soldier and special summon in defense position. You can only use this effect of Elemental Hero Solid Soldier once per turn. A lot of people don't play Solid Soldier in their like overall encompassing hero decks, like this kind of a deck, but I really like this card. He helps fill up my field real quick if I have Stratos and him in my hand, as well as he's also a great card to get out Shadow Mist for the special summon and things like that. I think he's a really phenomenal card, and I like this card a lot. He holds a lot of nostalgia for me, so I figured I'd tech him in at a 1. Next up, Evil Hero Adjusted Gold. You can discard this card to add 1 Dark Fusion or 1 card that specifically lists Dark Fusion in its text from your deck to your hand, except for Evil Hero Adjusted Gold. You can only use this effect of Evil Hero Adjusted Gold once per turn. Cannot attack unless you control a fusion monster. You're never going to have this thing on the field, but just in case you do, he's a 2100 beater. But he's pretty much just here to get out your Dark Fusion. That's literally it. Next up, we play Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard, except for Elemental Hero Liquid Solid Soldier, and special summon it. If this card is used as a fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. You can only use 1 Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier effect per turn, and only once that turn. So just like Shadow Mist, you have to make sure you're paying attention to which one you use. But phenomenal card, dude. Getting to summon him, summon something from the graveyard, is just really phenomenal. Like, and then he's also a great draw engine for the deck. You can use it with Polymerization, Miracle Fusion, and all that jazz. It's a super strong card. Honestly, you should probably play it at a 2 over Solid Soldier, but I like Solid Soldier, so we play them both at a 1. Next up, Vision Hero Ferris. You can discard 1 other hero monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can place 1 Vision Hero monster from your deck, except for Vision Hero Ferris, in your spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for hero monsters. You can only use each effect of Vision Hero Ferris once per turn. So he's here for Vision Hero increase, pretty much. You use him, you get Vision Hero increase. You use Vision Hero increase to pop Ferris. You use increase to get Violon out. You see where the plays are going. It's all just all encompassing. It's just to get everything up, moving, and grooving. Next up, we play 1 Destiny Hero Dynatag. During damage calculation, you would take battle damage. You can discard this card, make yourself take no battle damage from that battle, and if you do, each player takes 1000 damage. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Destiny monster, hero monster you control, and it gains 1000 attack until the end of this turn. Phenomenal card for keeping you alive. It's also another target for Dark Fusion. It's also a great target for Destiny Hero Dystopia for when we get to that. To activate that effect. That's a great tech card. I really like this card a lot, so I played it at a 1. Malicious. Destiny Hero Malicious. Banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero Malicious. Amazing card. Restricted to a 2, so we play 2. Hey, there we go. And that's it for the monsters in the main deck. On to the spells. We play 1 Raigeki. Don't need to talk about it. It's just another way of helping us control our opponent's field, as the monsters themselves don't really have much of a way until we get to our fusion. So we kind of need to handle something, So we play Raigeki, Polymerization out of 1. We have plenty of ways of searching out Polymerization and getting it back to our hand if by any means necessary, but we also have plenty of other means of fusion summoning our cards. 1 Monster Reborn, don't need to talk about it. 1 Reinforcement of the Army. They're all level 4 or lower warriors besides Vision Hero Ferris and Malicious. Don't need to talk about it. Miracle Fusion. We play this at a 1. You can fusion summon 1 Elemental Hero Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. Everything here helps support this card. And you can get this card very easily thanks to Elemental Hero Sunrise, which we'll talk about when we get there. But it's a very strong card, which is why we only play it at a 1. Some people like to play it at a 2. I'm okay with just playing it at a 1. personally. Again, we have plenty of ways of getting this card back into our hand if need be. This card, I feel like you should be playing at a 3, but unfortunately, I just did not have the UR materials to craft another of this, so I'm playing it at a 2. If you control no face-up monsters, pay half your life points to special summon 1 level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. This sets up plays. Sure, you're losing half your life points, but we have 8,000 for a reason. Who cares? 4,000 is fine. This card is phenomenal. Helps set up plays really easy. Next up, Dark Calling. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your hand or graveyard. This is here to get out Malicious Bane, and we have a search engine for it. Then we can always have access to this card because there's so many cards to get Evil Hero Adjusted Gold into your hand. This is why we play at a 1. This is why we play both these cards at a 1 to fit more stuff into the deck. And we only play 1 Malicious Bane, so yeah, we really only need 1. 3 Fusion Destiny. So you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster that from your extra deck that mentions a Destiny hero monster as material, using monsters from your hand or deck as fusion material, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card is resolved, you cannot special summon monsters except for Dark Hero monsters. You can only activate 1 Fusion Destiny per turn. Most of everything here that's really important that you would be summoning in the same turn are Dark Hero monsters. Majority of this deck are Dark Hero monsters. So this is a very strong card for setting up some plays, getting something like Dystopia or even Dangerous out into the field if you need to use Dangerous's effect, or just need to put out a 2600 shield just for the first turn. Dystopia for the pops and all that. It's a very strong card. Very strong card. We play it at 3. Next up, we play 3 Mass Change. This is like the go-to card of this deck. Target 1 hero monster you control, send it to the graveyard. Also, after that, if it left the field by this effect, special summon 1 masked hero monster from your extra deck with the same attribute that the sent monster had when it was on the field. I don't know why I broke that up like that. But this is your staple card. This sets up almost all of your plays because we do play a good portion of masked heroes. So very strong card. Next up, we do play Mass Change 2, and this is just kind of in place of like Impermanence, because I would be playing Impermanence or at another Call by Grave if I had the UR materials to make these cards. But it's honestly another decent option if you can't draw into your Mass Change 1. So you can discard 1 card and target 1 face-up monster you control that has a level. Send it to the graveyard. Also, after that, if it left the field by this effect, special summon 1 monster from your extra deck with a masked hero with the same attribute but a higher level than the attribute / level the monster had. This is very confusing. Don't listen to this card. Basically, you're gonna be special summoning a masked hero that has a higher level of your monster. It works the exact same, but it only works in an upward direction where this card could do it regardless, vice versa. It's very weird why this card is limited to 2. I don't know why. Honestly, I think it's worse than just regular Mass Change, but hey, you know, it is what it is. I don't make Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up, 1 Called by Grave, a staple card. Just helps pop out the hand traps or any pesky graveyard effects. Ice Dragon's Prison. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field, but its effects are negated. Then you can banish 1 monster from both players' field that have the same type as each other. You can only activate 1 Ice Dragon's Prison per turn. Great for popping out stuff and for getting rid of stuff from the graveyard. Great card. Solemn Judgment, don't need to talk about it. So we are done with the main deck. Onto this beefy extra deck. First up in the extra deck, we play Masked Hero Dark Law. It can only be special summoned by Mass Change. If any masked hero says this, just know it can only come out by Mass Change. I'm not going to mention that anymore. Any card in your that's sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. This is detrimental to some decks. Once per turn, your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except for during the draw phase or damage step. You can banish 1 random card from your hand. This guy just disrupts everything. Drytrons? Ha! No. Tri Brigade? Ha! No. Zombies? Ha! No. Anything that revolves around that graveyard, Dark Law comes in and puts a stop to it. He just does what he does and sends that shit right to the banish zone. And they can negate it by chain, because it activates automatically. This card is one of the main meats of this deck and is one of your go-tos. You pop this guy out and your opponent now has to either get rid of him or just suffer with their plays going to the BANE zone. Next up, we play Masked Hero Blast. If this card is special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 500 life points to target one spell or trap your opponent controls. Return it to the hand. Great for getting stuff off the field. A solid option, and you can use Stratos to get this guy out. Next up, we play Destiny Hero Dangerous. You could discard one card, send one Destiny Hero monster from your hand to the deck or the graveyard, and if you do, Destiny Hero monsters you control gain 200 attack for each Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard until the end of this turn. Honestly, this don't really matter. This is just to kind of get an extra Destiny Hero into your graveyard, but you're mostly going to be using him either for the shield or just his effect. You're not going to be using it for the attack. It's just to help fill your graveyard to get out whatever you need in the graveyard. Again, this is another card I'd be playing a 2 of, but sadly, I just do not have the UR materials to make another Sunrise, but Elemental Hero Sunrise. It can be 2 hero monsters with different attributes. Must be fusion summoned. Monsters you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute you control. You can only use each of the following effects of Sunrise once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. Hey, like I was mentioning before. When an attack is declared involving a hero monster you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So, amazing card, great numbers, hits very hard, beefs up the rest of the field as well. You have a ways of popping out cards with your other hero monsters. You have a way of getting out Miracle Fusion. Strong card. I would be playing it at a 2. I recommend playing it at a 2 if you have to. I unfortunately only have the 1 and do not have the UR materials to make another one. Next up, we have Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. So must be fusion summon, gains 500 attack for each water monster on the field. That part does not matter. What matters is if this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. This card is only here for which is going to be our next Masked Hero, which we'll talk about. Elemental Hero Great Tornado must be fusion summoned. It cannot be special summoned by other ways. If this card is fusion summoned, half the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Great card. Very simple, don't need to go into much. Now, for combo with Absolute Zero, we play Masked Hero Acid. Destroy as many spells and traps your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, all monsters they control lose 300 attack. They're not going to have any monsters though because of Absolute Zero being popped off with Acid, but if you have to use Liquid Soldier to get out Acid, whatever, this is still a very strong card and just gets rid of spells and traps. Hey, phenomenal. Next up, we play 1 Masked Hero Anki. This card can attack directly, but when it does, using this effect, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is halved. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add 1 change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's just a great way of getting out more mass change. That's pretty much it. Really strong card. We play it at a 1. Next up is Destiny Hero Dystopia. Now this card is a little weird, but you have plays to work with it. So if this card is special summon, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that target's attack. If this card's current attack is different from its original attack, it's a quick effect. You could target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to this card's original attack. You can only use each effect once per turn. So if you use Dyna Tag on this card to increase its attack by 1,000, you can then use this effect to reduce its attack back to 2,800 to pop anything on the field. Or if you also have Sunrise out to beef up the card by a little bit, you can reduce its attack back to original and then pop something on the field. A very strong disruption card and can honestly hit pretty hard with burn damage if you target Celestial in your graveyard, which is 1,600, or hell, even dangerous if you have that in the graveyard first. Next up, the big beefy man of the deck, Evil Hero Malicious Bane. So one evil hero monster and 1 level 5 or higher monster must be special summoned with Dark Fusion. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. During your main phase, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card's attack. Also, this card gains 200 attack for each monster destroyed this way. Also, you cannot declare an attack for the rest of the turn except with hero monsters, which we play in its entirety. This card, holy shit, this card wins games. Clearing out the board is amazing because there's not much that's going to have more than the Malicious Bane. And paired with Sunrise, Sunrise is going to beef him up even more, so he has even more targets to work with. Phenomenal card. This is our go-to. This is what the deck revolves around. Next up, Extra Hero Wonder Driver. If a hero monster is normal or special summoned to a zone this card points to, target 1 Polymerization, 1 Fusion, or 1 quick or change quick play spell in your graveyard. Set that target. You can only use this effect of Extra Hero Wonder Driver once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, special summon 1 hero monster from your hand. Strong card. Great ways of getting, all of your stuff back out. Real strong. Even this works too. Very powerful card, and surprisingly that's only a rare, but hey, he only points to 1 slot that really matters, but it's fine. You could still use this card to get your stuff back. Extra Hero Cross Crusader. We play this at a 2. If this card is Link Summon, you can target 1 Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can contribute 1 Destiny Hero monster to add 1 hero monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Extra Hero Cross Crusader once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters the turn that you activate this card's effect, except for hero monsters. Doesn't matter, that's all we play. Besides this very last card, Verte Anaconda. Don't need to explain what he does, but he's phenomenal for a fusion-based deck. I feel that he's definitely a must-play, but he's also just kind of here as a placeholder for Elemental Hero Sunrise, because I've only used Verte Anaconda probably like once. I'm going to be honest. So he's here for a placeholder for Sunrise, but it's a great option to have in the deck so you can get your plays off. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck. Now let's talk about this deck's strengths. It's a massive flood, like flooding the field kind of deck. You're always constantly summoning monsters. You're always constantly throwing monsters in there to constantly move and groove and whittle down your opponent and get some monsters out that's really detrimental to their fields. Its strengths are in very strong fusion monsters. It's a very fusion based deck, and all of these monsters here have very detrimental abilities that really hinder your opponent. It's also very, very versatile. You can open up with just about any hand except for maybe a select few things and still work and get your plays going. It's very, very rare that you do brick with this deck. There's always something that you can do. Now for the weaknesses. There aren't many, but if they get rid of, obviously if they get rid of your big boys, you're kind of hurting. But another big weakness of the deck that I've noticed at the very least is mostly just if you're stuck with just sticking out with this stuff, you're at the mercy of an OTK. This is a very reactive based deck. So if you unfortunately just sit there and kind of try and wait for your opponent to do something, if you do the wrong move, you're gonna explode and possibly lose your plays. So you have to think. Make sure you're thinking. Make sure you're always thinking with this deck. Make sure you get something set up for anything that you need to do. And that's kind of it when it comes to weaknesses. It could just get outplayed, or you could just not have exactly what you need at the given moment. But this deck is very, very powerful. Lots of strengths, great deck, very versatile, and I highly recommend, if you are a fan of heroes, I definitely really recommend you do play it. And there we go. That'll wrap it up for the deck list, guys. Let me know what you guys think of it down below. If this is a deck that you would want to play, if this is something that you agree with, it's very powerful. Let me know your thoughts and all that stuff down below in the comments. And we will be around with ranked matches for this deck very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. See ya.